I don't have a t-shirt for this one, guys, but I do have this giant poster. That'll do. Let's talk about Friends, baby. Let's talk about Rachel Green. Let's talk about Chandler Ross and Phoebe. Did I go there? So, Friends, as in the TV show, not just like friendship. I'm not here to give advice. Please don't take my... I can't offer advice, but could I offer you a sarcastic comment? Did you get it? Are you in the right spot on the internet? Friends! Everyone's talking about how Netflix like rebirthed Friends. Ew! Rebirthed was a gross choice. I, however, spent all of my childhood collecting the DVDs, which have now been rendered completely useless. Thank you, Netflix! Although, PSA, Netflix has the edited down cuts that originally aired on TV, but the DVDs have longer cuts that have like 2-ish extra minutes per episode. Y'all should invest. So for those of you who don't want to spend days or weeks or months or even years of your life watching Friends over and over, I'm here to sum it all up. So there are 6 friends, right? Hopefully you already know that, but no judging. There are 3 girls and 3 guys. Gender equality. They are all white though, so a little problematic. Monica, Ross, Chandler, Phoebe, Joey, Rachel. They're all living in New York. So Monica is kind of type A, very neat. And her brother's Ross. He's like really nerdy. He's a paleontologist. Ross's roommate from college is Chandler. He's smart, witty. And then there's Phoebe, super lovable, kind, optimistic, free spirit. She lived on the street when she was 14. She actually mugged Ross when she was living on the street. Then there's Rachel. She was like super popular in high school, cheerleader, really rich. She got a nose job. And Ross has been in love with Rachel since high school. And then there's Joey. Joey is Chandler's roommate. Joey's like a womanizer. Joey's like a lovable dummy who really likes food. And he's an actor and Italian. So how it all begins. One day, Rachel runs into the coffee shop in a wedding dress. Turns out she just left her fiance at the altar. And Ross has just found out that his wife, Carol, is a lesbian. Oh, but Carol's also pregnant with Ross's kid. So things that happen in season 1. Phoebe finds a thumb in her soda. Rachel gains some independence. She gets a job at the coffee house. Oh, Central Perk. Gunther works at Central Perk. He's like also in love with Rachel. A lot of people are in love with Rachel, which makes sense because Jennifer Aniston is like pretty hot. And Ross wants to ask out Rachel. Then she meets a guy named Paolo, who's not like Joey Italian, but like actually Italian. And he's just the worst. And at the end of season 1, Rachel finds out that Ross is in love with her. In season 2, Rachel's like, oh my gosh, I think I love Ross too. Ah! And she runs to the airport, but he gets off the plane with Julie, who he met in China, and they're already like a couple, but it's been 2 weeks. Rachel leaves this voicemail that's like, Ross, I'm so over you. Closure. And then he makes a pro and con list to decide if he wants to date Julie or Rachel, and Chandler types it up on his like real old school 1994 laptop, which was totally the mistake. Never write it down. He picks Rachel, but then Rachel sees the list and she is like, no, we done. Ross is all pouty and sad. Ross is pouty and sad like for most of the series, except for when he's Red Ross. Monica finds this video of Rachel and her getting ready for their prom. Ross puts on a tuxedo and gets a bouquet of flowers and decides that he's gonna take Rachel to her prom. Rachel's date shows up and she doesn't even know. But when Rachel finds out, she just kisses him. Everybody has a lobster. Thus begins Ross and Rachel. Oh, okay, Monica starts dating Richard, who's friends with her father. It's kind of gross, but also Richard's like a James Bond sort of person, so I can see where she's coming from. Chandler has this on and off thing with Janice. Oh my god. Phoebe's just sort of bopping around. She dates this guy named David, who's a scientist, but then he goes off to Minsk. So season 2 ends when Rachel's ex-fiance Barry and Mindy, Rachel's ex-best friend slash maid of honor, get married. And that's when Richard and Monica break up. Oh, also, Carol marries her partner Susan. Yay, Friends, for airing a lesbian wedding on primetime TV in the 90s. So season 3, Monica's super depressed about Richard, and she very nearly goes to a sperm bank and gets herself artificially impregnated. Thank you, Friends, for teaching me what a sperm bank is. And so Ross and Rachel, let's just get this out of the way. Rachel quits her job as a waitress at the coffee house to pursue fashion. But then this guy named Mark swoops in. Ross gets real jealous. One night, Rachel's like, let's take a break. And then Ross leaves and goes to have sex with a copy girl. And then Rachel finds out because the copy girl's co-worker's sister's roommate is Gunther, and they get into this big fight, and it's like really sad, and I usually skip those 2 episodes. The group almost falls apart, but then it's okay because it's TV and everything works out. And so now we live in a post Ross and Rachel world. Season 3 ends and Ross is dating this girl named Bonnie who was bald but now is not bald, but then Rachel convinces her to shave her head. And so she's bald again. Rachel writes him this 18-page letter, front and back. And then he breaks up with Bonnie to be with Rachel, but falls asleep while reading her letter and just blatantly guesses that it does when she asks, does it? Ross finishes the letter and is like, it so does not. And then they break up. So season 4, shoop-a-doop-a-doop-bop. Joey dates this girl named Kathy, and then Chandler kisses her, and so then he has to prove his friendship to Joey by being in a box for an entire Thanksgiving episode. What is Monica doing in any of these? Rachel dates this guy named Joshua, and Ross is dating this British girl named Emily who's like a real bitch when we meet her, but then we're supposed to be all on board. And then they get married. Yeah, Ross proposes. Spoiler alert, he does that a lot. Oh, sugar fudge! That's what Phoebe's doing this whole time. She's having her brother's triplets. So the gang goes to London except for Phoebe because she's hella pregnant. They're prepping for the wedding. Everything goes to hell, but it all works out because again, it's TV. Someone insults Monica by mistaking her to be Ross's mother, and then she and Chandler sleep together. Rachel flies all the way to London to tell Ross how she feels, and then she doesn't end up telling Ross how she feels, but then Ross says, I take thee, Rachel. That's season 4 done. Oh my god, we're not even halfway. I'm gonna speed this up. So Monica and Chandler are together now, but they're keeping it a secret. One day, Joey finds out because they both say they saw Donald Trump in an elevator. Sorry, the mention of Donald Trump just made me really depressed for the world. Anyways, there's like a war about who knows what, and then nothing really happens until Vegas. Monica and Chandler get in a fight about Richard, throwback, but then they make up and gamble and decide to get married. Then Ross and Rachel are super drunk and actually get married. Looks like it's gonna be another divorce for Ross. Meanwhile, Monica and Chandler move in together, and season 6 ends with Chandler proposing to Monica, or rather Monica proposing to Chandler. So in season 7, they finally turn 30 after being roughly 28 for about 3 or 4 seasons. Rachel has a very inappropriate relationship with her assistant. Oh, which reminds me, Ross has a very inappropriate relationship with a student. They really are made for each other after all. What are Joey and Ross doing in season 7? I'm probably forgetting something. Season 7 ends with Monica and Chandler's wedding. And Phoebe finds a pregnancy test in the trash. It's Rachel. Cliffhanger. You don't have to wait 3 months. Season 8. Guess who's the baby daddy? That's right, it's Ross. Ross dates Mona, but then she gets a little freaked out by Ross and Rachel's relationship. Rightfully so, to be fair. La-di-da-di-da, Rachel has the baby. Ross and Rachel kiss before she goes into labor. Ross actually wants to get back together, but his mom is like, you should propose, but he's like, no, I don't want to screw that up. And then Joey accidentally finds the ring that Ross's mom gives to Ross, and Rachel thinks he's proposing, and she says yes, which is insane. A lot of people think Ross proposed, and Ross is scared that he did propose because it does sound like something he would do. But eventually no one proposes. So we're at season 9. Oh, Chandler finally quits his job and pursues advertising. Joey and Phoebe agree to set each other up on blind dates. And so he goes in the coffee shop and just goes, Mike? And friggin' Paul Rudd responds. And then he wins Phoebe over by fake playing the piano. Oh, I remember what's going on with Joey. He kind of likes Rachel, and then Rachel kind of likes him, and it's very uncomfortable. And I wish it hadn't happened. The gang goes to Barbados because Ross has a dinosaur conference. In Barbados, all the couples get mixed up. except for Monica and Chandler. Thankfully, they're a constant. Joey and Charlie go there together, but Charlie and Ross end up together. And Rachel goes alone, but then ends up with Joey. Phoebe and Mike broke up because Mike really doesn't want to get married. She briefly gets back together with David, the science guy, but then Mike realizes he loves Phoebe and goes to Barbados anyways to say that he would marry Phoebe. And now we're in season 10. Joey and Rachel. Finally, they realize they're just better as friends. Duh. Eventually, Mike proposes to Phoebe, and then they do get married, and it's my favorite wedding episode. And Monica and Chandler want to have kids, but they can't because like their bodies. So then they decide to adopt. You know what? Let's just skip to the finale. Phoebe gives Ross a ride in her death cab because Rachel's gonna accept a job in Paris, and he's like, "No, I love you, Rachel. Get off the plane. Get off the plane." And she does because you know it's TV and everything works out. And then Ross and Rachel kiss and they're like, it's you and me forever. But then Ross goes, unless we're on a break. But they laugh about it because it's been 7 years. And Monica and Chandler end up adopting. They have twins. What? They thought it was one baby, but it was 2. Phoebe and Mike are perfect together and Joey's just being Joey. But then he moves to LA, I guess, because that's the show Joey. Full disclosure, I've never seen Joey. But has anyone really seen Joey? And that's the end. They go get coffee to say goodbye. I hope you enjoyed my ramblings. Though I highly recommend that you watch maybe just the Thanksgiving episodes. They're all the best ones. But also the one with the embryos because of the trivia game. And the one where Ross is fine. And the one with all the football. Oh, and the one where no one's ready. Once again, you should probably just watch it. There are 6 friends: Monica, Ross, Rachel, Phoebe, Monica, Joey. Oh my god. There's a bag.